The verse in this week's Parsha begins, Re'eh Anochi Nosen Lefneichem Hayom. The Almighty tells the Jewish people, behold, I place before you bracha, klala, a blessing or curse. And of course, blessing is someone who upholds his tradition, keeps to his heritage. And the curse, there's no greater curse than someone who is not keeping up with his heritage and his tradition. So there is an inconsistency in this first verse, and the inconsistency is as follows. We know in Hebrew, every verb either has a singular form or a plural form, but it has to stay consistent. It starts off Re'eh, see, and it's talking to a singular, an individual, some kind of singular entity. Anochi nosein lefneichem, I'm placing before you. Here the lefneichem is a plural. I'm placing before plural. What's going on? If it's plural, it should start off with the word re'u. That's the plural for see. And if it's singular, it should end up with the word anochi nosein lefanecha. I'm placing before you an individual. So why is there this inconsistency in the verse? So an idea I thought is that it's telling us something very, very important. And the lesson is that, as individuals, we all tend to have our own way of looking at things. When we see the world, we're seeing it, of course, we're seeing the same thing everybody else is seeing it, except we're seeing it with all the experiences, upbringings, values, understandings that we have as individuals. And two people may see the same thing, but see them very, very differently based on all these different factors. So there's a tendency for people to say, well, listen, if I see the world this way, then that means other people should see it that way as well. And sometimes, the biggest lessons in life is like when you realize that, there's another way to look at things, right? There's another perspective. Certainly if someone else doesn't have the same experiences or background or upbringing that I have, certainly they may see the world very, very differently than I do. And therefore the lesson of the Torah is telling us, Re'eh, each one of you individuals, take a look. I'm placing this before all of you. I am placing the Torah. The Torah is something that is given to each and every individual through their own understanding. A person cannot sit there and say, well, if I understand this is right and this is wrong from my own perspective, then that's what's right and wrong for everybody. People have their own backgrounds, their own upbringing, their own understanding, and they're going to see the world their way. And we have to respect that, and we have to be able to even sometimes go out of our little shells and see the world through their own perspective to try to understand what they're looking at, and not just expect them to do everything the way we do. Such an important lesson, and it's such a measure of maturity of an individual when he's able to see the world through someone else's vantage point. Re'eh anochi nosen lefneichem. The Torah is given to everybody, not just to you in your own perspective. I wish everybody a wonderful Shabbos and all the best.